Hello, it's Stompin' Time Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance. Mostly challenge, only marshals, New Game Plus, although it doesn't matter anymore now that we're at the end of the game. With me, BlueAnkylo, and it's time for probably the hardest fight in the game. Who gets stomped? Us or the villain? Or the real hero? Last time, I did not use in-game music, and rightfully so was called out for it. There's a few places in Renaissance where they added custom tracks. The Astral Realm that I forgot as well, which is really creepy. And this one. I've read all this before, but hey, you've got Excalibur. Enjoy your 8-bit downgrade of Battle on or Clash on the Big Bridge. So good. Alright, Gilgamesh. What you got? Now, I've been thinking a little bit about this fight. He's very strong. The music doesn't play in the bestiary. Illegal. Now that we've beat him, a couple times, you can see his actual stats. The problem is he gets like 4 attacks per turn. You can also see he has innate resistance to everything. Doom, Confusion, Petrify, Silence, Insta-Death, Darkness, Paralyzed, Sleep. I think that's all of them. Oh, good, we could poison him. But not poison kill him like Bane. Is there anything I've missed? You could slow him. That doesn't do anything. No, yeah, that's not... I mean, he's got every element resistance. Theoretically, you could probably get rid of that with Exfer. But he's got the innate traits which stop him from being hit by almost any effect. So keep that in mind. And he gets 4 attacks per turn. He's what the Spellblade wishes they were. So this could be spicy. I actually can't remember if you can ruse through them. So I don't know if that works. I do know that if I use ruse, if I cast ruse, it's not going to work because we're going to be using Runic. He was immune to silence, I'm pretty sure. But we can use items without casting them, which means it doesn't interfere with Runic. And we can certainly jump on him, see how much damage that does. And we can... Was it dark? Because it'd be really nice to get him darked for my Dark Knight, but there's so many. Yeah, he resists darkness as well, of course. That's unfortunate. So we could poison him. He resists insta KO. I guess if he gave himself buffs, we could steal them. Normal Gilgamesh does that. It could stop him from running away. We can probably steal some HP when we're in a pinch, but yeah, I don't see a lot of value. I guess we can put Bio on him, maybe. It's not going to do anything. But yeah, what I really will be focusing on is Runic, I think. So let's see how this works. 1, 2, we still get hit. 3, and then the last one, you can't Runic because you can only charge 3 at a time. So defense up was the right play. The thing is, Celeste is already basically dead in 1 hit. This fight is gonna be painful. I'm gonna I need to see the messages a little bit better. I'm gonna slow it down. Things are going this group, none of this makes any difference at all. I mean, we'll swing, see what we can do. I mean, I was hoping to put some buffs on everybody, but... Is there anything... I guess he's not immune to stun. Maybe that's the play. He's not undead. I think he had immunity to confusion, silence. Let's double check. The problem is he's immune to so much stuff. It's confusion for sure. Silence for sure. It's kind of limiting our options here. So no. it's got to be stone. I'll double check that. Stun, I think maybe. Slow doesn't matter. We know bio would work, but whatever. He's not weak to it. Critical chance, of course, is just your generically good one. Honestly, stun might be the play if that works. I don't see... He says resist paralysis, but maybe it counts differently. But there's nothing else, I think, that looks reliable. Also, it is like resist sleep, comma, ... That might mean he resists everything anyway. Because it's too much to list all of them. I guess we give it a shot if we get a turn. 800 damage is fine, but yeah, here's where people start dying. He got me with confused? That's not fair. That's really not good. I don't have to explain that. Yeah, that's some bad news bears for sure. Maybe we can... let's try to stun him, I guess. What else can we do? I'm gonna runic, but we probably won't live this turn. Useless. We did stun him though. Oh, but it only loses one of his turns. Oh, that sucks. Because he gets 4 actions, the stun just hits one of them. Wait, maybe stun can stack? Maybe. It is stopping him from doing, like, it's not 4 minus 1. It seems to be... He gets 1 attack, maybe. Interesting. We win. We didn't kill him. Okay, hold on. That was pretty good. But we're gonna do that again. I want everyone to live. Okay. I think I still had a good idea of how to deal with this. Let's try that. We get to listen to the music a little bit more. Might as well, right? Okay, so yeah, defense on Beatrix so that we can theoretically get a lot of evade and cover, but we probably won't live long enough for that to work unless we're just lucky. It might be better for the Dragoon to not jump so they can soak a hit. And then we kind of know that like nothing the Dark Knight does here helps, unfortunately. It's not a very good fight for Dragoon. I guess we set up Blood Weapon so that we can self-heal, which might help. Maybe it would be better with the Dark Knight at the top slot, because they're less valuable on this fight. It's kind of unfortunate. Or we... No, we're not going to get enchant... We're not going to get the stun chance on turn 1. So, Blood Weapon... And then, yeah, Runic to make the first 4 attacks only 1. Unfortunately, he still gets his attack in, even though it absorbs the enchant spell. And he does hit pretty hard. Oh, that's not fair. So that's hitting through a ribbon. I mean, Gilgamesh is not known for being fair. That's true. Well, now what? That's lame. You can't even drink a potion. I don't think that should be I have a ribbon equipped. So can I silence him then? I guess he's got a ribbon too, but right? There's no way. I mean, legitimately, there's no way. So we can't use any more items on Beatrix. That's really annoying. But we are going to be able to do stun all. So in theory, if everyone's alive for this, if we get a turn and we cast the dang spell, we might start nerfing him down enough that we're good. Because I wanted to be able to use Runic more than once, right? That was the whole idea. I think if we stun him once per turn, we can Runic the rest. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough defense on Beatrix. That's what I was really missing. Because if I could get their evade up, then I think we could stun Runic him and not take too many hits. But also with Freya dead, yeah. So does his... I don't think that's fair. It seems like his sword magic bypasses immunity. Is that by design? Like, I know he's supposed to be, like, super boss. Like, I kind of get it, but... How lucky did we... How lucky... Oh, don't get healed. How lucky were we to win that first one, maybe? I mean, we can come back at level 50, but... I would like to actually beat him, not just run the timer out, but... The problem is, if you can't resist his statuses, can't do much here. My group is not really amazingly set up for this fight. I mean, I was hoping Runic... People in the comments were like, yeah, Runic works really good against this boss. Ish. Okay, we did not get silence, thankfully. We're gonna try to go for those stuns, like I said. Seems like... I mean, maybe I should try my own... Sure. He could silence us through a ribbon with sword magic. It's only fair we do it back to him, right? Aim to not die. Come on, you freaking jerk. Through a ribbon. I mean, that's a nice drain. Yeah. Unless we can silence him, there's no way, right? And even then, he would just swing and kill us. That's really unfortunate. I don't like it when bosses... We've talked a lot about bosses and the resisting status effects and stuff. Obviously, you don't want bosses to be so easy that they get paralyzed and they can't fight back. But this is a pretty good example of over resistance, and they ignore our resistances, right? He's immune to every status except stun, I guess, so far that I can think of. But our ribbons mean nothing against him. I mean, maybe they work sometimes. I don't know what the odds are. We're not always getting affected by his spells, but more than I would like. So maybe we just needed to try silence more. We only got a few attacks off, but stun was making the biggest effect if we get good turn order here, but we don't. Yeah. And, like, Ruse doesn't matter if he gets to use his spell. So, like, we need Runic plus defense, or evade, for us to not get in trouble. And that still hit anyway. So that time we had 160% extra evade, it did nothing. We did a lot of damage, but he's got a ton of HP. Stun doesn't actually stack, it's just, he get. See, sometimes we stop him from getting any turns, right? I think the stun strat was the right play, but it's so turn order dependent, it's brutal. We're doing, I mean, what's his HP? I mean, we must have done a good number of thousands. I don't think we're very close to 17,000 in this group. But we won, so sure, whatever. I'll take it this time around. I don't think this fight... On normal mode, it's not bad. But on New Game Plus, kind of unfair that he just ignores your ribbons. Hits super hard, there's no way to really avoid it. Runic works a little bit, but... Yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking. It's a challenge. It is meant to be a challenge boss, but if it wasn't for the cool music, I think I would say that's lame. Now, it does give our Rune Knight finally a good skill. It's still... You can't even use it every turn. It still has fatigue, of course. You should start with Blitz. Blitz should be a first... You should just have that at the beginning of the game. That should not be limited to promotion. And not just promotion, but a fight that's more difficult than Chaos. You can only get that after you get Excalibur, so you have to go to the top of Sky. And you have to fight a fight. You have to survive a fight that is certainly harder than Chaos. Although you don't do the whole dungeon, the fight itself is definitely harder. Anyway, let's go beat the game. I'm a little bit salty. Oh, I want to turn my speed up a little bit here. It was good to see what was going on that fight, but let's go a little faster here. So you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think about Gilgamesh? Is he appropriately challenged, or is that too much? Let's see how much damage Celeste can do with that Excalibur, at least. Maybe. Yeah, 4 hits, 600. I mean, it's fine. Nothing crazy. Unfortunately, the Spellblade has not been a huge benefit to this group. I'm quite confident a Dancer would have been a better martial support, basically, for this kind of role. But I also wanted to show off the Super Boss again, because, of course. But this is very much a hold A to win fight at this point. Now that our levels are getting kind of insane, everybody hits pretty hard. Between pretty hard and crazy hard, depending on turn order and crits and stuff. I suppose we pick up the Massa at least. That's only fair. Ooh, we didn't kill everything in one turn. For shame. I could see some really clutch wins with the Death Knight with that damage bonus at low HP. If you had chance to defense up, like if you were fighting Chaos solo or something, right? And you rused yourself up to max evade, and you were just getting chipped down by spells one after another, eventually you're going to be at like 100 HP or something. And maybe you somehow manage to get Dark on the boss. You can probably get it via your skill. Even Chaos. You could probably get him blinded at least. And like, I could see the damage just going absolutely nuts as we get closer and closer to death. Theoretically. Seems like a pretty cool Death Knight style skill. We got a preemptive strike, but we're also very strong. That Excalibur, whatever, was it the Buster Blade? The Buster Sword. We stole Cloud's weapon. Dragoon, a little bit weaker against just holding A to win. I think their regular attack is not quite as crazy as, you know, Excalibur mains. But here, we get to do the... one of the few fights where the Rune Blade is actually very valid. Oh, I keep forgetting to use Blitz, but it does cost a spell slot. But anyway, no nuke for you. Ha! We actually got it. So we could have needed, like, I don't know, 400 damage times 4, that's 1200. We could have potentially needed to use our entire stash of heal potions there. Just to restock. So we just saved at least 50 heal potions, let's say. I don't know. Depends on your average damage, but maybe 200 or 300 average, and then times 4. Well, let's say 300, because that's 10 heal potions. So that saved us at least 40 heal potions, probably. I don't know. Not exact, but... that is one of the... like, it's kind of weird. Is that good enough to bring the Rune Blade? No. That on its own is... it's a nice ability, but that's not too strong. We'll just try to rush carry down here. She did get an attack, but there was no setup that would have killed her quicker. As long as we can kill her in one round, then what's the point of using spells and stuff? Kraken, though, maybe? Let me think. Kraken does hit really hard, especially on New Game Plus. This is kind of a scenario where if the Kraken goes first and chooses to attack, there's not really anything you can do. Oh, right, we got a preemptive strike. That means we win. We could use Bane, I guess, if you want. Is Bane still as cool as it was in the NES? Eh. It got 2 of them. Jump deals with everything, of course. So strong. I guess we could do a weapon reevaluate here now that we're getting to the hard fights. We're nowhere near another swing with a defense sword, so that doesn't really matter. Is the Kraken 2 is not actually weak to lightning, right? A lot of the refights strip their weaknesses, yeah. So you don't have a way of taking advantage of that unless you're doing enchantment spells. Is it possible? We've got 10% hit rate to spare if we want to go down, or about 22% up to get another swing. You could almost get an extra swing with the Cobalt Greatsword. Yeah. I never switched to Tempest. What's my hit rate on the Dragoon? Actually, we're at the level, yeah. Minus 15% hit is... no, not enough. We need 128 is an extra attack. So we're at 11 hit percent spare. And this would cost me 15 to get 5 more damage, which is not a good deal. Although this is... I don't know, it's probably not even worth looking at. Is the Kraken a magic beast? Aquatic spellcaster. No. Okay, never mind. Let's just fight him. Enough messing around. I think we just go for damage. I think jump is likely to kill it. Maybe darkness is sort of worth it. We already do pretty good damage with Warcry. Pretty good. We got good turn order. We still got hit for 600, though. Better kill it right away, right? There. Yeah, I mean, it got 1 turn. And it could have killed somebody. 600 damage. You know, only a couple people could have survived that. Let's keep the Death Knight a little bit healed up. I am going to go pick up that Massa. This is a martial group. We got to get the best sword. These guys are pretty tanky. They got like 800 health or something. We did not get the darkness on them or the blinds. Interesting. And the jump didn't insta-kill them. For shame. Maybe we did get the blind. Tech speed's going a little quick. Unfortunately, we are definitely gonna burn some heal pots to do this. New Game Plus, this floor is, spooky. Yeah. We definitely need a win on the beginning of the next turn. And is there any cool spells that I would try? We could go for Bane. I think it's pretty low odds. Yeah, I don't think they resist anything specifically, but they've got a lot of magic defense, right? Yeah, 200 M defense is tons. We don't have, like, crazy intelligence to definitely hit through it. We could try. The jump will kill them, so maybe putting them to sleep would be kind of funny. I keep forgetting we can use Blitz, so we can always put... now we've got tons of spell slots. What would be the coolest one? Insta-Death? Insta-Death. And then we get a free attack, maybe get a kill. You know what? 2 out of 4 sleeps? That's pretty decent. At this level. Anyway, we win. There's I don't think there's any chance that this doesn't kill. Yeah, not with the Warcry boost. So, yeah, Blitz, it's just a little bit too little too late. Like, you can definitely spam it in this... Ooh, I'm almost out of heals. In this final dungeon, you can use it pretty much every fight, probably. But, you know, the only way you get it is killing Gilgamesh, or surviving Gilgamesh, which is obviously very, very much more difficult than anything else. I think we also learned that the Massa is maybe best on the Dragoon, because you don't need to do spears for jumps. Even though normally I would probably give it to the fighter, given that we have the Excalibur on the Spellblade. Interesting choice. Everyone loves the Mazza, no doubt. Every single person here would love it. But the auto crits for the jump are so good. Nobody else gets auto crit in this group. So we resorted back to swords after all. Now everyone has a sword. We tried axes. We tried spears. We decided we like swords more. It's the Final Fantasy way. It's also the D&D way. In old school D&D, especially computer games, but probably modules as well, you generally find magical swords. You very rarely find enchanted rare spears or axes. They exist, but there's like 10 times as many magic swords. Everybody wants their magic sword, I guess. Might as well use those cure spells now, I suppose. We're doing okay, but we definitely burned through them. So let's try versus Tia. Maybe just... We get extra effectiveness via Dragoon. She dies next turn. And... for fun, we could try to paralyze. I don't know the odds. Don't tell me the odds. Even stun is more likely, I guess. I think because no one really resists stun specifically. That's too bad. She got a turn, but then we stole her turn, so now she's absolutely dead. Also, that was 3,400 damage. Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, here we go. Final battle. Any final words? Nah. Well, what I'll show you is Chaos's stats, and I'm looking for his spells. So he goes Ice 3, Lightning 3, Slow 2, Cure 4, Fire 3, Ice 2, Fast, Nuke. He does have Nuke. See, I thought he had Nuke. It just takes a long time to get there. We cannot Runic, Kraken, Inferno, Swirl, and Tornado, so those will hit us. But we can definitely try to Runic Cure 4. Or Slow 2, because we don't have a way to counter that. So that's the big one. His 3rd and 4th spells, we try to resist. We cannot Silence, Petrify, Confuse, Doom him, but we can Blind him, Stun him, Paralyze him. Stuff like that. They should have added a custom boss music for this fight too. Think about Gilgamesh's music. We should get the boss music from. I think Final Fantasy II had boss music, but FF1 just uses the standard battle track. The remakes added one, of course. Okay, let's get this. I think we defend up because we're super scared. We're taking this super seriously. It's kind of a joke, I guess. Was there any dark magic I was thinking of trying? Unfortunately, most of these are just not. I mean, we could try. He's not immune to KO. It's pretty lame. Sure. But we don't need to use Runic yet, so let's throw on... he is immune to Silence, and Stone, and Confuse. You could slow him. I guess we go... Now, because he resists lightning and all elements, the chance of these hitting might still be kind of low. I don't know. I mean, they worked on Gilgamesh. But the stun is still pretty effective if we can get it. Hey, you know what? We kind of just won, right? What else can he do? He dead. We can't blitz twice in a row, but we've already got the stun. 1900 damage. He breaks his stun. And... Warcry, attack. We blitz again. We put stun on someone else. And I think he dies this turn. Should have slowed... hold on. We can slow it down mid-battle. We got the stun again. He wakes up. We do 1500 damage. 300 damage. Nothing too crazy. We don't have a lot of hasting. I could be doing Power Glove strats. But the fact that we can stun lock him... basically... is still, you know, insane, right? I didn't get Leon's HP low enough to really do anything, and Dark hasn't KO'd him or anything yet. Yeah, he's gonna be dead any second now. We got another stun. We can put more stun on Freya. That'll be 3 people with stun without even using our limit or anything. We just killed him. Just via damage. There wasn't a KO effect there. So, I mean, this group... You know what? Hey, the Rude Knight, the Bolt 2 sword did technically trivialize Chaos. And we had access to Runic to absorb his Cure 4 and nuke. It stopped the Lich's nuke. They added some value to the final dungeon, right? Like, they're not a bad class. I just think their HP is very low. Their non-blitz enchant magic is not great. They're pretty terrible at random encounters. And I did give them the best weapon, of course. So there is that. Now, people, while we're just wrapping up this episode, this was fun, but we're still too strong. So there is this extra quest. I never really think it's worth it. But Fountain of Offering. I'm pretty sure I showed it off the last time I brought a Paladin. I want to test it, basically. Someone has mentioned there was a secret, non-disclosed benefit of this shield. And in this group, someone else could use the Aegis shield, and we could give a ribbon to the Paladin. So there is a way to get a little bit more value here, even though normally 3 ribbons, and then the Paladin would have the Aegis shield Dragon Armor combo, which is very good. But there's other people who could do that in this group, because everyone can equip the Aegis shield somehow. And the Dragon Armor. Well, Mystic Knight is basically all I'm talking about. It's the Fountain. And, yeah, you trade the best sword for a shield. And you can reverse it, but... Oh, of course, space. I'm gonna drop the Opal shields. We can buy those back if you really want to change your mind. But yeah, the fact is the Excalibur is so good. It's really quite insane to drop it like that. I don't really think it's an equivalent exchange. In case you're wondering. But the Lunar Shield, Paladin only, of course. And it does have more defense. Oh no, it's the same defense. So the stats are basically the same. It says resist KO, so that works a little differently than I originally thought. It's not the same as the Protect Ring. Protect you from the death element, which is usually KO. It's the same thing that Gilgamesh had. He has resist trait KO, which means any insta-death effect should be prevented by this shield. And I was like, okay, so that stops. We already had access to Protect Ring, which is the death elemental KO. Stone is actually not KO, so this doesn't protect you from stone the way Aegis would, or like Bane and Brack I think still kill you because it's poison. Well, what does it say? Maybe, no, it says poison KO. Okay, so it should protect you from those then. So Crack, Bane, Break, maybe the Death Touch from the sorcerers, in theory, are all prevented. But you can still get paralyzed. Well, our magic defense is high enough. The on-hit effects don't really matter anyway. But the hold spell would still get us. Or the sleep spell, or any status elemental stuff would get us, basically, on magic. Or at least has a chance. We still have resistance to a bunch of stuff. But realistically, I think what you do is switch these around so you have the ribbon anyway. And then we have someone else who gets almost all status protection except status. Poison, Stone, Fire, Ice, Lightning, Death. As good as you can get without a ribbon, basically. Or you have a Thief and you get 4 ribbons. But in theory, this way the Lunar Shield isn't costing you any status protection. Although, it is kind of funny because the ribbon protects you from KO anyway. So at that point, it's just, I feel like the Lunar Shield as an armor is worse than the Aegis Shield. KO is not... It's not that valuable. The thing is, it does something else. And it says occasionally annuls magic damage. So we need to fight something that does magic damage. Maybe we should have saved this. We should have got this and saved the Gilgamesh fight. Because maybe it would have worked against enchants. I can't test it anymore because it's too late. I'm sorry. That would have been really nice to test, actually, in hindsight. I wish I'd remembered that. Sorry, you guys play along and go test it out yourself. Do this party. This party's pretty fun. And make sure you get... turn in your... Wait. No, you couldn't. Because you have to show the Excalibur to get Gilgamesh to do the fight. So I don't even think you could... That's like the one time when annulling magic damage might be worth it, is against those ridiculous magic attacks Gilgamesh has. But you need the Excalibur to fight Gilgamesh, right? I mean, maybe there's some custom dialogue if you throw it away and then maybe he already has it or something. Like, you know, that'd be kind of funny if you traded it for the Lunar Shield. He's like, oh, I found this in some stupid fountain. I guess we should fight anyway. But like, that might be kind of funny. But there's no refights, so I should have saved it. I didn't even think. Okay, I need some magic to test on. I don't know if actually, I don't really want to save it or anything. I'm not sure if skills from dragons count. So I want to see like Blizzard. Does that nullify that or something? In theory, it works with cover. So if you cover someone else, maybe you will nullify the magic damage they would take. There you go, 0 damage and 0 damage. So that was 2 out of 6. And you can cover everybody if that's all you want to do. But I think that's 3 hits. 3 out of like 12? That's not looking great. I don't know what the odds are exactly. It's nice it works on enemy skills, otherwise it would be completely trash. Yeah, that was 0 for 4 cover. So I kind of think that shield is garbage. That's the special effect. It's sort of a secret, I guess. It says annuls magic damage sometimes. Well, that's what it means. You instead of taking magic damage, you take 0. But it looks like it's like a 25% chance or something in that area. So, yay. 1 in 4, maybe you don't take damage. You could cover the whole group, but realistically then, you probably just want to use your limit. Definitely take no damage, and then just have everyone else kill the enemies, right? It actually didn't work. Oh, we're at negative 42 damage. Negative 42 HP. That's funny. That shouldn't happen. So, we got killed by a cover. We took magic damage on a cover. Can you do that without... Maybe part of it is you can cover for magic damage with this shield. I need to test that as well, actually. Hold on. So this is without the lunar shields. If I cover against... Because I don't use cover very often, so maybe that's just a vanilla mechanic. I can't believe we got to negative 42. That might have been a bug. I should have... Well, maybe we'll get it again here anyway. I should find out if that persists. Well, I can't get out to go get healed, basically, is the problem. We don't have life spell. I didn't pick up the warp stone or anything. Alright, here we go again. Let's find out. Okay, it looks like it 100% of the time gives you magic cover, which is something you cannot normally do. You normally only block physical attacks. The shield lets you take magic damage for your friends and occasionally nullify it. Yeah, so that's 100% of the time you can cover magic damage. But like, imagine doing that against the Lich. You cover round 1 or 2, let's say the Lich doesn't nuke you immediately. Instead of killing the Lich and attacking it, you spend your time setting up some cover. Then the Lich unleashes nuke, and your Paladin takes 3 nukes to the face. They probably just die. Now, maybe you get lucky and your shield annuls one of them, and that way you save your White Wizard, who can raise you from the dead. But, wouldn't you rather just have the Excalibur and kill it? That's not better than just killing it. Because the Excalibur is really good at killing things. And killing things is better than taking a tremendous amount of damage from cover. Now, that's not to say that the Lunar Shield isn't good. I just don't think you should be trading the Excalibur for it. I don't know what a good cost would be. Maybe it doesn't need a cost? Maybe do like another super boss fight, add like Omega in there or something, that'd be funny. Or Shinru. Shinru could show up, sure. We already have Gilgamesh, let's add the other mega boss from FF5. That'd be fun. Yeah, I think trading an Aegis Shield equip plus Excalibur, you would need something better. So in the remakes, there's a Hero Shield, I believe, from one of the bonus dungeons, which basically functions like a ribbon, resists everything, but is a shield. It's built for your knight, so you get like 3 ribbons and an equivalent ribbon. I believe that's all it does, just really good absorb and resist all. If the Lunar Shield had resist all, and the magic cover, that might be enough, but I still would never trade Excalibur for it. The chance to take 0 damage from magic is cool, and maybe that's like a pretty powerful ability, so you want it to cost something. So give me a fight, or give me a quest. Like, that wasn't really a quest, that was click on a fountain, right? Give me something to do to earn it, post-promotion. And then give me an ultimate shield. Because you're a paladin, you're the tank. Give me an ultimate armor, or give me an ultimate shield. I'm cool with that. But don't take away Excalibur. Because that also limits it to, you can't really do it until you're done all the dungeons, except the final dungeon. Like, it soft locks it to the, basically the end of the game. Limits it. Anyway, that's my take. I don't think the Lunar Shield, even knowing its secret hidden effect, still garbage. Alright, as I wrap up the episode here and the run, final review for the 4 melee classes. Fun party. Not I think we're a lower level than the mages, but that's just because we kill slower, so I run more often. And we take a lot more damage with less disables, less control, more HP and tanking, but honestly, we still take a ton of damage on New Game Plus anyway. 74 absorb sounds crazy, but it's not that much. That's another thing, the Paladin, the Hero Shield, if you're going to give him an ultimate armor, he probably needs, like, another 20 defense on top of this. Like, get me close to 100 absorb, and then I'll feel like I'm tanky. Right now, I still don't feel very tanky. I still get hit pretty hard, especially by Gilgamesh. I do like the fighter. I think the Paladin is still one of the strongest characters in the game, simply because they get... It's hard to see, it's just background math, but the 3 magic defense per level is insanely valuable in your top slot character, because they're going to get hit by the most spells, the most holds, banes, well, the single target, statuses and stuff, and even if you don't have the armor that protects them, having good magic defense, we're at only level 32, and if we got more, you know, it would keep going up. You get 3 magic defense per level, nobody else except the black belt gets that. And we get good armor and stuff, so like, the Paladin is still really, really good. Maybe, I'm not going to say they're the best class in Renaissance, they were obviously the best class in Vanilla, but they're very close. I'm going to say probably A tier, if not S tier. Warcry is good, depends on your group. It's a bit of an anti-synergy because you want to kill stuff on the first turn, but if you have the right team, there's definitely times where this is good, and it's a big damage up. It works really well with the Dragoon's jump. It works really well with anybody that does physical attacks, you know, it's great. Nothing wrong with that, and it does last 2 rounds, so it's not terrible for action economy. This is one of those charge type effects that I normally don't like, but I think this one's good enough and useful enough to be like, yeah, it's fine. It's not like crazy, but it's solid. Cover is very niche. It's I think it should be auto cover when an ally is below 25% HP or something, you just take a hit for them. Spending a turn to set it up, and then basically just always rotating cover through the whole group. That is not fun. I don't think that's a good way to play this game. Yes, it's kind of funny. You can get your ruse up to max evade and then just cover the whole group, and the whole group is immune to physical. That is funny, but it takes 6 turns usually to fully set up, and at that point you should have just killed whoever you're fighting, really. So it's too slow. That's the main thing, too slow. The limit is very situational, but a good tanky one. I think I'm fine with this limit. I've talked about limits before. I think it should just recharge. I think this is not a crazy strong limit. I think it should recharge every like 5 to 10 battles or something, or maybe kills on the Paladin. Maybe make it like, or even cover. Like, I know maybe FF1, the Renaissance developer, doesn't want to like remake the entire game. It's trying to take mechanics from future games and put it into FF1, but we're already taking mechanics from other games. So in future Final Fantasies, there are limit systems where you can choose different ways of charging your limits. And I think it makes a lot of sense for each limit for a different class to charge based on kind of a class mechanic. If you're trying to make Paladins tanky, maybe make their limit recharge when they take a hit for an ally. Maybe they need to take a certain number of hits or something, but instead of doing killing enemies recharges it, which probably makes sense for the Death Knight, for the Paladin, maybe it incentivizes you to use cover more often. You get this ability more regularly. It's still not a very strong limit, but you could use it more regularly if it recharges mid-battle at least. Mid-dungeon. Shout is basically useless, and that's it. So the main thing carrying them is stats, good hit percent growth, good magic defense growth, access to basically the best weapons and armor, and that's still very, very solid character. Dragoon! Well, they're not very good if they're your Paladin replacement, because in the top slot, jumping, you're going to let your squishy back row characters get hit a lot. They're definitely not, because they don't get to use shields, they're definitely not as tanky as a fighter. They do get all the heavy armor the same, like they can use dragon armor, and I think they can equip... Well, they don't get the shield. Everything but the shield they can equip. So they're good, like they're good tanks, but not... When they're flying around, they don't get to take hits. So their job is like DPS, and although it's got a charge turn, this is the kind of skill that's good enough for a charge turn to still be worth it. Nothing wrong with, like, super jump is just so good, and even normal jump is solid. The auto crit ignore defense is great. I think this is my benchmark for if it needs to waste a turn, it needs to be about this power. And especially once you finish the side quest, which is a nice little side quest, I'm totally fine with that. Then you get priority, and a priority on a charge is exactly what we need to finally make me like it. You're wasting one turn exactly, but you're not around to get hit, and then you attack before the enemies get a chance on the second turn. So you're basically just saying, I go last and kill everything. We give the enemies one turn, and then we definitely attack and probably just one-shot them all. That is strong enough to waste a turn in my book. But that's why the summoner isn't as good, because you don't get priority and there's no guarantee you kill them all. Depends, well, sure, Bahamut, but then you're using a spell slot, and you don't have infinite spell slots. This doesn't really cost us anything, it's just a free skill. So I still think Dragoon's very, very strong. The funnest solo challenge, definitely. Maybe the fastest. And I like the spears. I think they're fun. I wish there was a few more mid-tier spears. Like once you get to Crescent Lake and the Earth Cave, there's basically nothing. And the Trident is garbage. And then you get these two in the sky, the last elemental dungeon. And they're actually not a huge upgrade. I kind of think we're missing an ultimate spear. This is not really equivalent to Excalibur tier, or even really, I guess it's similar to the Sun Sword, I guess, Holy Element, Undead effectiveness. You get a bit more crit, which doesn't matter for your jumps. It's okay. I think they could use one or two more spears in the mid-game that are useful. Other than that, what else we got? The Dark Knight, I still haven't really got to show off a lot of their stuff. It's just Soul Eater, pretty good, works better with a healer. I think, I don't know when I would use these guys. Bat Quest really should start pre-promoted 100%. I think they should get death resistance on promotion. The blind thing is fun. Misery is a fun little side quest. I'm okay with that. Yeah, the limit is really bad, in my opinion. Blood Weapon is hard to imagine when I want to use it. But especially with the synergy with this Crimson Sword to heal all the damage you deal, I think there's definitely a way of building it into that. It still costs you a turn. It's got the same problem as all the enchant magic, where you spend a turn doing nothing, so that next turn you can deal the same damage, but heal yourself. It's also free, it doesn't cost you any spell slots or anything, so like that's good. And we do get a lot of weird niche spells. I think a lot of this Dark Knight list is garbage, but not all of them. And honestly, Bio 2 could probably carry you through the Elfland area, and generally, especially on normal mode rather than New Game Plus, you could not bring a Black Mage, and Bio 2 will still kill Kaizokus and other, early game groups pretty efficiently. So like that's pretty cool. It gives you an AoE sweeper on a fighter, and I don't think you need to be promoted for this, right? So even a ninja can do it, but only promoted. This gives you a martial character that can also sweep, which depends on the group, but it could be pretty good. I haven't really tested out a lot of their custom spells. Like I still never used Pain or Bleed. Bind is very situational. I can't really think of a good time for Enchant Dark. Too high of a level spell, too late in the game. Same thing with like Absorb. A lot of these are very niche, but maybe you can find a good use for them. It's neat, and a couple of them are good. I like the trade-off of huge damage for low hit. Obviously combos incredibly well with a lot of classes that can apply Darkness, or give them the fast buff, which is incredibly good on a Death Knight. I think Death Knight's also probably A tier, honestly. Very fun. And then, of course, the Spellblade. Hit percent 2 per level is probably a mistake. I think that's bad. I think we should have 31 more hit. That would give me another swing, and then we would compete with the other classes. Basically, we'd have the same hit percent as the rest. Not counting the Death Knight. But the 2% hit growth is bad, and it doesn't really get changed. If you want the Rune Knight to be more magic focused, give them the Paladin's magic resistance growth. the magic defense growth. Give them 3 per level or even 4 per level like a monk, and that would at least give them some value, but they've got terrible HP, like spellcaster HP, and thief level hit percent rather than fighter level hit percent. And although they can use good armor at least, so like there's that. And weapons, swords and armor is good availability, but honestly that hit percent growth hurts a lot. And their strength, it's not as good as a paladin, obviously. It's definitely not going to do as much damage with the equivalent sword. And I think the Spellblade is very much reliant on this Bladecraft taking effect. If you're getting effectiveness on your weapon, then you're probably keeping up with the paladins. But that's not always easy to set up, depends on the dungeon. So you're kind of like weaker against random encounters, and maybe a little bit stronger when you can take advantage of weaknesses. That doesn't happen super often. Their limit is fairly forgettable. You still spend a turn to do something cool. It's not garbage, but it's definitely one of the weaker limits in my opinion. And maybe it should also recharge every time you use a spell or something, just so that you got some reason to use it more regularly. You're still spending a turn to not kill anything. And I'm really not impressed by most of the enchant magic. I think when I first got them, I was thinking, oh, these are going to be awesome. But the solution is already here. You just need to start with Blitz. With 1 round of fatigue and limited spell slots anyway, just start with it. You don't need to... Like, Gilgamesh can give us something else. I don't know what. But let Gilgamesh give us something cool that is more appropriate for endgame. Let us get Blitz from the beginning. Runic, I can see why that's promotion locked, but it's very niche and would be a lot better if you had it from the beginning of the game. Because using it against Astos and the Lich the first time, those are the fights where you might want it early on. And if you only get it post-promotion, Kraken 2 doesn't really matter. It doesn't work on Tiamat. There's not very many enemy spellcasters that this is going to value you, other than the refight against Lich 2 and Chaos at the very end. So it's got some use, but it's so limited. I actually think you should definitely start with this at pre-promotion. I think Spellblade needs a couple major buffs, because if I'm thinking Paladin, Dragoon, Death Knight are all A or S tier, Runeblade, or whatever we're calling this guy, Spellblade, Rune Knight, they're probably C tier, maybe even D tier, because they don't add very much to most groups. Give them Blitz, maybe make leveling up these a little bit less of a pain in the neck. They're not that good. Most things resist anyway. Stun, like, you can find some utility. But remember the spellcasting group, we could do all that utility AoE turn 1. No need to, take turns. And it's like, if you're using red mages or intelligence boosted accuracy, there's people that can do debuffing and disabling so much better. So they're not as good at dealing damage as a regular martial, clearly, for most of the game. They're way worse at crowd control and debuffing than a pure mage, like a blue mage, time mage, red mage, black mage. The classes that are really good at AoE disabling. So I don't think he's as bad as the Evoker Summoner, but his niche is weak, and yeah, definitely needs a couple buffs, I think, in my opinion. I actually think Impart is completely garbage. This should just be scrapped. I don't know, just get rid of it. I can't really think of any time this is an efficient use of your turn. You spend your turn to do nothing, to give your friends more damage if they have an elemental weapon, which for most of the game they don't. And then in the end game they do, so you give them 50% damage up of their weapon. So it's actually less than Warcry, because this is just your attack your attack power after strength modifiers is 50% for the whole group for 2 rounds. So you can also take advantage of that yourself next time. Everyone gets plus 50% damage for the next 2 attacks. Or we get nothing. Our friends, if they have an elemental weapon, get 50% of their weapon damage increased, but not their strength. And then next turn we get nothing ourselves, and everyone else, it's just 1 round rather than 2. So you spend an action to give 3 people a smaller damage buff normally than the fighter can. that lasts for 2 rounds. And it only works if they have an elemental weapon, which a lot of the time they don't. Now, yes, you can double their weapon strength if the enemy is weak to it, but that's a lot of ifs. Sure, you could give a knight the Excalibur and then Bladecraft the knight to get an extra 45 damage every time he attacks. But honestly, the knight is one-shotting things with Excalibur, so double one-shotting doesn't really matter. So even when you can use it, it doesn't help. And when you need it, it won't work. Early on in the game, when you're struggling to kill things, it doesn't do anything. Unless you spend more turns using enchantments, and then you're spending 2, 3, 4 turns setting it up when you should have just been killing. So I can't see Impart ever really being used worth a turn. Very, very unlikely. Runic, a couple fights. It's really good on a couple fights. Blitz you should have always. Infuse is fine, just kind of weak. And Bladecraft is cool. It's a neat mechanic for the Spellblade. I don't hate this ability, I just think it's... as a passive, it's fine. It doesn't hurt you, but it's hard to get a lot of value out of it. Because not very often... Like the special swords you get early on, wind, earth, poison, nothing is weak to them, so you're never getting the doubling from Bladecraft on those, right? It never happens. So until you're in the late game with Excalibur or something, it's not going to be that... It's not zero effect, it's just small enough that I don't think it makes up for the other weaknesses. Anyway, I've rambled lots on Rune Knight. I think they're not irredeemable, they're just not kind of carrying their weight. Anyway, we're an hour in, I got meetings to do and stuff in my building. Fun group, the Martial group is a lot of fun. I still think the Rune Knight is better than a couple classes. He's not the worst class in Renaissance. And we got to have some fun with him here, so it's alright. But the worst of these 4. And I would say often probably the weakest of a 4-man party. There's only a couple classes that I would rank lower in utility. Anyway, let's end it here. Good fun. I kind of wish I'd tried talking to Gilgamesh with no Excalibur. You let me know in the comments what happens if you throw the Excalibur away and talk to him. That would have been fun. See you next time. I'm not sure what I'm doing next. Maybe take a break. I've done a lot of runs. There is one more group of synergy, but thematically. We've done all mages and all fighters. Maybe there's one more. I'll think about it. See you guys next time. Have a great day.